A pleasant day to the grade 9 Socrates of NUST San Isidro campus. Today we'll be discussing another topic in Mathematics 9 since we already finished discussing direct variation and inverse variation. This time we'll be having the combined variation. Let us first identify or define the different types of variation that we have. The first one is direct variation where y varies directly as x, and as x increases, y also increases. Yan yung sinasabi natin sa direct variation. Kapag tumataas si x, tumataas din si y. And as x decreases, y also decreases. Kapag bumababa si x, then bumababa din si y. The equation for direct variation is y equals k times x. The next one is the inverse variation, and it is being defined as y varies inversely as x. As x increases, y decreases. Kabaliktaran ito ng direct variation. Kung sa direct variation, habang tumataas si x, tumataas si y. In inverse variation, kapag tumaas si x, then bumababa si y. Then as x decreases, y increases. Kapag bumababa si x, tumataas naman si y. Ibig sabihin, magkabaliktad yung nangyayari sa kanila. The product of x and y is always constant, and that is what we call the constant variation. The equation for inverse variation is xy is equal to k, or y is equal to k divided by x. These are the two different types of variation that we already discussed. I know that you already know how to solve inverse and direct variation. This time we'll be having the third one, which is the joint variation, the combination of the two different variations that we have. And it is being defined as z varies jointly as x and y. As x and y increases, z also increases. As x and y decrease, z also decreases. Joint variation yon. Equation for joint variation is y is equal to k times x times z. At meron pa tayong isa, yung combination. No? So ito, joint variation pa lang yan. So we focus on joint variation. But before that, let us first have a recap on different concepts that we had. Let's start with the k, which is the constant of variation. Alam din natin na ang graph ng direct variation is always a straight line, and it passes through the origin whose slope k is the constant of variation. Let's look at the graph of y equals 2x here. And 2 is the constant of variation in this linear equation. As you can see, we have here a graph which passes through the origin, at ang slope niya ay yung constant of variation, which is 2. So this is an example of the graph of a direct variation. The graph of y equals 2x straight line passing through the origin with a slope of 2. How about k for the inverse variation? The graph of inverse variation is a rectangular hyperbola such that the product of x and y is k, the constant of variation. Let's take a look at the graph of xy equals 2. There you go. This is the graph of xy equals 2. As you can see, meron tayong nabuo na rectangular hyperbola. So this is an example of the graph ng isang inverse variation. The graph of xy equals 2 is a rectangular hyperbola whose product of x and y is always equal to 2. So yan yung dalawang klase, no? Variation na na-discuss na natin noong start of the second quarter. Let's have an example of direct variation. If 3 men earn $180 in one day, how much will 15 men earn at the same rate of pay? If you want to try solving this problem, just pause the video, and if you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, just continue playing the video. First, write an equation. So our equation would be 180 is equal to k times 3. Kasi yung k na yan yung multiplier natin. No? Sabi kasi dito, yung tatlong tao, kumikita sila ng $180 sa loob ng isang araw. Ang tanong, how much will 15 men earn at the same rate of pay? Yung 15 na tao daw, magkano yung kikitain nila sa loob ng isang araw with the same rate of pay? So, ang nawawala dito ay kung magkano ang kita ng isang tao sa loob ng isang araw. Okay? So, our equation would be 180 is equal to k times 3. We solve for k. So, k now is equal to 180 divided by 3. Simplifying further, k is equal to $60. So, ang kita ng isang tao sa loob ng isang araw ay $60. So, madali na natin ngayong makukuha kung magkano ang kikitain ng 15 men pag sila ay nagtrabaho in a certain day. So, you use the constant of variation along with the given information. Y is equal to the same here. Our equation, variation equation would be y equals kx. Y is equal to kx, wherein we are looking for the value of y. Since yun yung total na pwedeng ma-earn ng 15 men. And our x is 15 kasi yun yung bilang ng tao na nagtrabaho. So y is equal to 60 times 15. To multiply, y is equal to $900. Therefore, 15 men will earn $900 in one day at the same rate of pay. Direct variation example, letter B. If a boat travels 132 miles in 11 hours, how far it traveled in 38.5 hours traveling at the same rate of speed? Ayan, meron daw isang boat, nakaha 132 miles siya in 11 hours. Gaano kalayo yung matatravel niya kapag siya ay nagtatravel ng 38.5 hours at the same rate of speed. Again, if you want to try this problem, just pause the video, and if you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, just continue playing the video. The first step is to write an equation here. So our y is the length, kung gaano kalayo yung na-travel, the distance, and our x here is the number of hours, and we are looking for the k or the constant of variation. Ito yung gaano kalayo ang natatravel ng isang boat sa loob ng isang oras. Okay. And then the question here is how far will the boat travel for 38.5 hours at the same rate of speed. So, ang nawawala dito ay y pa rin. We are looking for the y. Then, we solve for the constant of variation using the information. So, you will have 132 divided by 11. Since we are solving for k, we have to eliminate 11 here by dividing the whole equation by 11. And 132 divided by 11 is equal to 12. So, the constant of variation is equal to 12. Using the formula y is equal to kx, and using the constant of variation, which is equal to 12, we will be having y is equal to 12 times 38.5, and simplifying further, you will have 462 miles. Ibig sabihin, sa loob ng 38.5 hours, ang boat ay makaka-travel ng 462 miles at the same rate of speed. Okay, let's have examples on inverse variation. So the reason why I am giving you examples on direct variation and inverse variation is because I want you to master inverse and direct variation because you'll be applying it into the joint variation and combined variation. Okay, let's have this problem. The speed of a gear varies inversely as the number of teeth. If a gear which has 36 teeth makes 30 revolutions per minute, how many revolutions per minute will a gear which has 24 teeth make? So this is, ayan yung gear, ano? So sabi, the speed of a gear varies inversely as the number of teeth. If a gear which has 36 teeth makes 30 revolutions per minute, ayan, yung isa daw gear na merong 36 teeth ay nakaka 30 revolutions sa loob ng isang minuto. Ang tanong, how many revolutions per minute will a gear na mayroong 24 teeth? Gaano daw karaming revolution ang magagawa ng isang gear na mayroong 24 teeth sa loob ng isang minute? If you want to try this problem, just pause the video, and if you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, just continue playing the video. The first step is to write an equation here. We know that for us to solve for the constant of variation ng isang inverse variation, we multiply x and y. And our x here is 30 and our y is 36. So k is equal to the product of 30 and 36, which is 1080. So we already have 1080 as the value of our k. Using this constant of variation, we can now solve for the y, which is the unknown variable. So y times 24 is equal to 1080. Ang nawawala ay si y, no? Or kahit na si x, sabihin mo pang x pa yan, parehas lang naman yon because this is multiplication, and in multiplication, walang pagbabago yan. Okay? So y times 24 is equal to 1080. So 24 teeth, no? Ilang revolution. To solve for y, we divide the whole equation by 24. So you will have 1080 divided by 24, and that is equal to 45. Ibig sabihin, kung 24 ang teeth niya, ang revolution na magagawa niya ay 45 sa loob ng isang minuto. So habang kumakaunti yung teeth ng isang gear, yung ngipin ng isang gear, mas bumibilis yung kanyang revolution. So kaya siya naging inverse variation. So therefore, a gear with 24 teeth will make 45 revolutions per minute. Okay, let us have another example on inverse variation. This is the second example. If 8 snowplows can plow the airport in 6 hours, how many hours will it take 3 snowplows to plow the same airport? So merong snowplow. 8 snowplows can plow the airport in 6 hours. So ibig sabihin, para siguro ito yung mga airports na nagyayelo, ano, may mga snows. Yan, yung mga tagatanggal ng snows. Yung 8 tagatanggal daw ng mga snows ay kaya niyang linisin ang isang airport ng 6 hours. Ang tanong, how many hours will it take 3 snowplows to plow the same airport? So 3 lang yung snowplows. So ibig sabihin, mas tatagal ito, no? Mas tatagal yung pagtatrabaho ng 3 snowplow. So, mas hahaba yung oras nila. So, yun na agad yung assumption natin. Kasi kung 8 yung nagtatrabaho para matanggal yung snows sa isang airport, 6 hours nila yung tinatrabaho, how much more itong 3 snowplows lang ang magtatrabaho para sa same airport. So, our answer here should be greater than 6 hours. Right. So the first step is to write an equation. Our equation would be 6 times 8, which is equal to k. Then solve for k, we multiply 6 and 8, and that is equal to 48. And then we solve, use the constant of variation. Using the constant of variation, along with the given information. So you will have y times 3 is equal to 48. Since y is the missing number of hours. Then solving for y, we divide the whole equation by 3. So y is equal to 48 divided by 3 and y is equal to 16 hours. That means it will take 3 snowplow, 16 hours to plow the airport. So, 16 na oras magtatrabaho itong tatlong snowplows para matanggal yung mga snows na yun sa same airport. Yan na. Ito na ngayon yung highlight of this discussion, which is the joint variation. Let's have the first example for joint variation. Here's the problem. Suppose y varies jointly as x and z. Find y when x is 9 and z is 2. If y is 20 when z is 3 and x equals 5. Medyo magulo, no? Kasi nga joint variation na ito. So, kung kanina sa inverse variation saka sa direct variation, you are just dealing with two unknown variables, x and y. Here in the joint variation, you have to deal with three unknown variables, x, y, and z. Pero madali lang ito, don't you worry. So you will have two equations. This is the equation for joint variation. Yung sub 1, ibig sabihin that is our first equation. Y sub 2, meaning this is our second equation. And then we substitute. So y sub 1 is equal to 20. Ito yun. Then x sub 1 is equal to 5. Then z sub 1 is equal to 3. Sila yung nasa first equation kasi sila yung kumpleto. Sila yung tatlo ang values. Unlike kanina, itong nasabi sa yung unang na-mention, kulang siya ng y. Kasi yun yung hinahanap natin, ano? So this will be our second equation. Y sub 2 is equal to y sub 2, yun pa rin siya. X sub 2 is equal to 9. Then z sub 2 is equal to 2. Meaning, dahil kompleto yung ating first equation, we can solve for k using the first equation. Okay. Method 1. 20. So, this is the first equation. Sinabstitute lang natin. Y sub 1 is 20. K is the unknown. And then x sub 1 is 5. Ayun siya. And z sub 1 is 3. Pinalitan lang natin yung first equation ng kanyang mga values. So, eto na ngayon siya. Then we simplify it. So, you will have 20 is equal to k times 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Para mawala si 15, i-divide mo yung whole equation by 15. So, magiging 20 divided by 15 equals k. And how do we simplify that? That is equal to 4 over 3. So, the constant of variation is equal to 4 over 3. Using this constant of variation, pwede na nating ma-solve si y sub 2. So, using this second equation, by the way, magkamukha lang yan, ano? We substitute y sub 2 is equal to k, which is 4/3. Our x sub 2, which is 9, ayan siya. And our c sub 2, which is 2, ayan siya. Okay? So, again, using this equation, y sub 2 is equal to k. What is k? 4 over 3. And our x sub 2 is equal to 9. And our c sub 2 is equal to 2. Then we simplify it further. Y is equal to 24. Why? Because 4 times 9 is 36. Times 2 is 72. 72 divided by 3 is equal to 24. So that means y sub 2 is equal to 24. So that's the answer. For the method 2, kung hindi kayo komportable sa method na ito, you can have another method. So from the first equation, you will have to solve for k. So gawin nyo na agad na ganun yung inyong equation. K is equal to y sub 1 all over x sub 1 times z sub 1. And then, ganun din, k is equal to y sub 2 over x sub 2 times z sub 2. So parehas na silang k. Napapansin niyo, di ba? Parehas na silang k. Yan. So kung parehas silang k equal to k, ibig sabihin they are equal. Magkamukha sila, no? And then, if they are equal, you substitute the values. Y sub 1. What is y sub 1? 20. Ayun siya. What is x sub 1? X sub 1 is 5. Ayun siya. Then z sub 1 is 3. There you go. So you have 20 over 5 times 3 equals y sub 2, yun yung nawawala. Wala siyang value. Over x sub 2, which is 9, times z sub 2, which is 2. Then you simplify this equation. So you will have to cross multiply 20 times 18 is 360. Then 15 times y sub 2 is 15 y sub 2. To eliminate 15 here, you divide the whole equation by 15. 360 divided by 15 is equal to 24. That means you will still arrive at the same answer whatever method you will be using. So it's up to you which method you would like to use. Either method 1 or method 2. Kung saan kayo comfortable. Okay, joint variation example number 2. Let's have this example number 2. Again, if you want to try this problem, just pause the video. And if you want to check if your answer is right or wrong, just continue playing the video. Suppose y varies jointly as x and z. Find y when x is 9 and z is negative 3. If y is negative 50 when z equals 5 and x equals negative 10. As you can see, we are looking for y here when x is 9 and z equals negative 3. And we have a complete set of values here. So this will be our first equation. We identify our values. Y sub 1 is negative 50, x sub 1 is negative 10, and z sub 1 is 5. So we are looking for y sub 2. X sub 2 is 9 there, and z sub 2 is negative 3. Using the method 1, pag method 1 ang ginamit natin, we solve for k first, using the first equation. So you will have negative 50 equals k times negative 10 times 5. Then simplifying it further, you will have negative 50 over negative 50. Since negative 10 times 5 is negative 50. Para mawala yung negative 50, we divide the whole equation by negative 50. So k is equal to positive 1. That is the constant variation. Then using the constant variation, we substitute the constant of variation to the second equation dito. So y sub 2, rewrite mo lang, equals k, which is 1, times x sub 2, which is 9, and our z sub 2, which is negative 3. Then simplify it, i-multiply mo lang yung tatlo na yan. 1 times 9 is 9, times negative 3 is negative 27. So that is already the value of y sub 2. But if you want to use method 2, so magkakaroon tayo ng dalawang equation na naka-equate sa x, sa k, and then we equate those two equations or those two expressions. Then substitute the values that you have. Ayan yan. And then cross-multiply. As you cross-multiply, you will have negative 50 y sub 2 equals 1,350. Then divide the whole equation by negative 50. So you will have an answer of negative 27. That means method 1 or method 2, either of the two, pwedeng gamitin kung saan kayo mas nadadalian, saan kayo mas komportable. Because you will arrive at the same answer pa rin naman. Okay. Combined variation, eto na, combined na. So nakakatatlo na tayo, no? So we have the inverse variation, direct variation, and the joint variation. This time, let's have the combined variation. Anong ibig sabihin ng combined variation? When one quantity varies directly and inversely as two or more quantities. Magkasama na si inverse at saka si direct. Doon kasi kay joint variation, parang puro direct variation lang yun, ano? Dito kay combined variation, magkasama si inverse variation at saka si direct variation. Let's have here an example. Suppose f varies directly as g and f varies inversely as h. Ano daw? Si f varies directly as g and varies inversely as h. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Mamaya makikita natin, ano? Find g when f is 18 and h is -3. If g is 24, when h is 2 and f equals 6. Ayan. So we have three variables here. We have g, h, and f. Tatlong variables, g, h, and f. Pero si f varies directly kay g. So ibig sabihin, f is equal to k times g, pero varies inversely kay h. Kaya magiging f is equal to k times g inversely kay h divided by h. Yan. So, direct variation natin, y is equal to kx. Inverse variation natin, y is equal to k divided by x. Yan. Tandaan yan, ha? But here, we have f varies directly as g. So, g goes in the numerator. And then f varies inversely as h. So, h goes in the denominator. So, yan yung sabi ko kanina, no? f is equal to k times g divided by h. Kasi sabi, f varies directly as g. So, f equals k times g. And inversely as h, kaya divided by h. So, this is our equation. So again, we have two equations tulad kanina sa joint variation because we have complete values here. We have g, h, and f. Ito yung gagamitin natin for the first equation. And then ito naman yung f at h dito, yun yung gagamitin natin sa second equation. We solve for k first. K is equal to f sub 1 h times h sub 1 divided by g sub 1. So dito naman, k is equal to f sub 2 times h sub 2 divided by g sub 2. Dahil parehas silang equal to k, ibig sabihin ito at saka ito, they are both equal. They are equal. By substitution, mag-substitute tayo. Our f sub 1 is 6. Our h sub 1 is 2, ayun siya, and our g sub 1 is 24. And then our f sub 2 is 18, our h sub 2 is -3, and we are looking for g sub 2. Simplifying this by cross multiplication, you will have 6 times 2 is 12 times g sub 2 is 12 times g sub 2 equals 24 times 18 times -3 is -1,296. Solving for g sub 2, we divide the whole equation by 12. So, we'll be having g sub 2 is equal to -108. So, that is already the value of g sub 2. So, that was easy. Combined variation, example letter B. When one quantity varies directly and inversely as two or more quantities. Suppose A varies directly as B and A varies inversely as C. In this type of problem, we have three variables A, B, and C. Find B when A is 7 and C is -8. So, ang nawawala ay si B. If B is 15 when C equals 2 and A equals 4. Lagi niyong tatandaan yan, ha? A varies directly as B, so B goes in the numerator. A varies inversely as C, so C goes in the denominator. Our equation would be A sub 1 equals K times B sub 1 over C sub 1. How about our second equation? Ganyan lang din, papalitan mo lang ng 2 yung sub niya. So, A sub 2 is equal to KB sub 2 divided by C sub 2. Then we solve for K. Yan, pareha sila. K is equal to A sub 1, C sub 1 over B sub 1. And K is equal to A sub 2 times C sub 2 divided by B sub 2. Meaning, they are both equal to K, kaya sila ay equal. Tanggalin mo na si K. Silang dalawa na lang equate mo. And then, you substitute the values. Our A sub 1 is 4. Our C sub 1 is 2. Divided by B sub 1, which is 15. Then, our A sub 2 is 7, ayun siya. And our C sub 2 is negative 8 divided by B sub 2, which is the unknown variable. Using the cross multiplication, you will be having 4 times 2 is 8 times B sub 2 is 8B sub 2. Then 15 times 7 times negative 8 is negative 840. Divide the whole equation by 8 to eliminate the numerical coefficient of B sub 2. So we will be having negative 105. That is already the value of B. This variation stuff is pretty easy, right? Feel like jumping for joy. I hope that you are also feeling like this. Yeah. For your task this day, I want you to solve these variation word problems. We have here, this is actually one problem. The volume of a gas D varies inversely as the pressure P and directly as the temperature T. These are the things that you have to do. Just comment down. Just leave a comment below. For letter A, write an equation to represent the volume of the gas in terms of pressure and temperature. Gawa kayo ng equation. And then, is your equation a direct, joint, inverse, or combined variation? You just identify, is it direct, is it inverse, is it joint, or combined variation? Since you already know the difference among the 4 types of variation. And then, solve letter C. A certain gas has a volume of 8 liters, a temperature of 275 Kelvin, and a pressure of 1.25 atmospheres. If the gas is compressed to a volume of 6 liters and is heated to 300 Kelvin, what will the pressure be? Just comment, leave your answer below para ma-check natin yan. Okay? By the way, the reference of this PowerPoint presentation is this link. So yung link niya. If you have any more questions, you are free to ask in our GC Mathematics 9 Socrates. I wish you all the best. Keep safe, everyone, and God bless you all. Thank you.